Most men over 60 approach color in their wardrobe the way they approach most things that have been working for decades, without questioning it. The colors they have always worn continue to occupy the wardrobe, continue to be reached for each morning, and continue to produce results that feel familiar even when those results are, on closer examination, not quite right. The navy that has always been a staple might now be competing with too many other competing dark tones. The brown that felt warm 10 years ago might now be clashing with the gray that crept into the wardrobe more recently. The result is a wardrobe that feels full but never quite coordinates, a collection of individual pieces rather than a working system. The color mistakes men over 60 make in their wardrobe are different from the color mistakes we addressed in the shirt near face video. That video was about which colors sit closest to the face and what they do to the skin tone, the eyes, and the overall facial impression. This video is about something different. The overall color system of the wardrobe itself. Which colors belong together? Which ones create confusion when combined? Which ones produce a coherent, coordinated wardrobe where every piece works with every other piece, and which combinations quietly undermine that coherence and make the morning choice harder, the outfit less resolved, and the overall impression less intentional? The color system that works best for men over 60 is not complicated. It is built around 5 anchors: navy, white, charcoal, camel, and stone, and the specific ways each one relates to the others. When the wardrobe is built around these 5 colors and the relationships between them, every combination works without deliberation. Every morning, the first piece pulled from the rail connects to the next. Nothing fights, nothing clashes, and the daily getting dressed process becomes the effortless routine that most men want it to be but rarely achieve, because the color foundation of the wardrobe has never been deliberately established. This channel is about classic menswear, timeless style, and the practical decisions that help men over 60 build a wardrobe that consistently delivers. The color system is the foundation of that wardrobe. Today we are establishing it completely. The first color mistake that most men over 60 are making in their wardrobe is having too many competing dark tones: navy, dark gray, dark green, dark brown, black, dark burgundy. These are all dark tones, and in the same wardrobe they create a low-level visual competition that makes every combination feel slightly heavier and less clean than it should. The man whose wardrobe is dominated by dark tones has a specific morning problem. Every piece he reaches for is at the same visual weight, and there is nowhere to create the light-dark contrast that gives an outfit visual dimension and legibility. The solution is not to remove all dark tones from the wardrobe. It is to identify 1 or 2 primary dark anchors. Navy is almost always one of them, and charcoal or dark gray is almost always the other, and to treat all other dark tones as secondary or occasional. The wardrobe that is anchored in navy and charcoal, with white and stone as the light counterparts, has a natural hierarchy that makes every combination readable. The wardrobe that adds dark green, dark brown, dark burgundy, and black to that navy charcoal foundation creates a low-level complexity that the eye registers as noise without being able to name it. The second color mistake is the warm-cool conflict. Every color has a temperature. Warm colors lean toward yellow, red, and orange. Cool colors lean toward blue, gray, and green. When the wardrobe mixes warm and cool tones without awareness, the combinations produced by that wardrobe will often have a subtle but visible clash. The warmth of the brown shoe against the coolness of the gray trouser. The warmth of the camel blazer against the coolness of the navy shirt underneath. The warmth of the khaki against the coolness of the dark green jacket. The classic menswear palette resolves this by having clear warm and cool sides. The cool side, navy, white, charcoal, pale blue, stone. The warm side, camel, tan, cream, warm khaki, brown. The system works because the cool side and the warm side are designed to complement each other rather than compete. A warm camel blazer over a cool white Oxford is not a warm-cool conflict. It is a warm-cool contrast, which is one of the most elegant and most consistent color relationships in classic menswear. The conflict occurs when two items of similar visual weight but opposite temperature are placed against each other without the anchoring contrast, a warm khaki trouser with a cool grey-green jacket, or a warm mid-brown belt with a cool charcoal trouser. If you are finding this useful, the kind of color system guidance that most men never receive in a clear and practical form, go ahead and subscribe. This channel is built around exactly this level of specific workable detail, and there is a great deal more coming on every aspect of how men over 60 can look their best with fewer but better decisions. The third color mistake is the pattern conflict. Most men over 60 own at least one patterned piece, a checked or herringbone jacket, a striped shirt, a patterned tie or pocket square. Pattern conflict occurs when two patterned pieces are worn together without the right relationship between their scale, their color, or both. A large check jacket with a bold striped shirt creates a visual competition that the eye cannot resolve. A fine herringbone blazer with a small houndstooth shirt is closer, but still more complex than necessary for most occasions in a mature man's wardrobe. The rule that eliminates pattern conflict is simple. Never wear two patterns of similar scale together. If the jacket has a visible texture or pattern, the shirt beneath it should be plain. If the shirt has a visible stripe or check, the jacket over it should be a plain color. The one pattern rule: in any outfit, one patterned piece maximum. Every other piece should be a solid color. This rule, applied consistently, produces outfits that are never visually cluttered and always readable from a distance, which is precisely the quality of an intentional, considered appearance. The fourth color mistake is what might be called the color drift, the gradual accumulation of pieces in slightly different shades of the same color that do not quite match. The navy polo that is slightly more purple navy, the navy blazer that is slightly more blue navy, the navy chino that is slightly more green navy. None of these pieces is wrong individually, but worn together, the three slightly different navies create a combination that looks as if color matching was attempted and failed, which is considerably worse than simply wearing different colors deliberately. Color drift is particularly common in navy and gray because these are the colors most men buy most frequently and from the most varied sources. Over time, the wardrobe accumulates multiple navies, multiple grays, and multiple off-whites that exist in a zone of uncomfortable similarity. The fix is intentional. Within any single color in the wardrobe, own pieces that are clearly the same shade, or own pieces that are clearly different shades worn as a deliberate tonal combination. Dark navy blazer with a slightly faded mid-navy polo reads as an accidental mismatch. Dark navy blazer with a pale blue Oxford reads as a deliberate light-dark contrast. The space between these two options, the zone of similar but different, is where most color drift occurs and where the visual impression is most compromised. Now I want to hear from you directly. Which of these four color mistakes do you think is most present in your wardrobe right now? The competing dark tones, the warm-cool conflict, the pattern conflict, or the color drift? Tell me in the comments. I read every one. The fifth color principle, not a mistake but the positive framework that prevents all four, is the 5-color wardrobe. Navy as the primary cool dark, charcoal as the secondary cool dark, white as the primary light, stone or pale khaki as the secondary light, camel as the warm accent. These 5 colors work together as a complete system. Navy and charcoal are different enough to be clearly distinct, but similar enough in temperature to combine without conflict. White and stone create the light side that provides contrast against both darks. Camel provides the warm accent that connects the cool blues and grays to the tan and brown leather goods. And within this system, every piece at every price point will combine correctly with every other piece, because the color relationships have been deliberately established. The practical test for any new piece: does this color belong to one of the 5 anchors? A pale blue polo is a version of white. It belongs. A stone linen blazer belongs at the stone anchor. A tan leather loafer activates the camel warm side. But a dark burgundy shirt introduces a sixth color that has no natural relationship to the five. A dark olive jacket introduces a seventh. Each addition outside the five anchors increases complexity without increasing versatility. More options, fewer combinations that actually work. Building toward this system does not require replacing the wardrobe immediately. It requires identifying which pieces in the current wardrobe already belong to the five-color palette and making those the daily rotation. It requires identifying which pieces fall outside the palette: the dark burgundy shirt, the olive jacket that is slightly too warm, the mid-brown chino that fits neither the warm nor the cool side cleanly, and gradually replacing them with palette pieces as they need updating. The wardrobe becomes more coherent with each replacement, and the getting dressed process becomes simpler with each step. Here is the complete color framework. Identify and reduce the competing dark tones, navy and charcoal, as the two dark anchors, everything else secondary or occasional. Respect the warm-cool relationship, camel and tan on the warm side, navy and charcoal and stone on the cool side, with deliberate contrast between the two rather than accidental conflict. Apply the one pattern rule, one patterned piece per outfit, every other piece solid. Watch for color drift. Pieces of the same color in different shades that are too similar to read as intentional contrast, and build toward the five-color wardrobe: navy, charcoal, white, stone, camel, which eliminates all four mistakes by design. So here is the challenge. Look at the wardrobe this week with color awareness. Pull out every piece and sort it against the five anchors: navy, charcoal, white, stone, camel. Every piece that clearly belongs to one of the five goes back on the rail as the daily rotation. Every piece that falls outside the five, the dark burgundy shirt, the olive jacket that fits neither cool nor warm side cleanly, the mid-brown chino that drifts between stone and camel without committing to either, is identified as a candidate for gradual replacement. Not thrown out immediately, simply deprioritized in favor of the pieces that already belong to the system. The wardrobe that results from this exercise will likely be smaller than the current wardrobe. It will also produce more combinations that work, more mornings that require less deliberation, and a consistently more coherent overall impression. Not because more money was spent, because the color foundation was deliberately established, and a deliberate color foundation is the single most powerful structural change a man over 60 can make to how his wardrobe functions. If you found this useful, subscribe and share it. This is exactly the kind of foundational color guidance that changes how a wardrobe works from the inside out. In the next video, we are going into the specific color combinations that make men over 60 look instantly sharper, and why the combination matters more than the individual color. You will not want to miss that one.